All right, recording in progress. What's up, everyone? Jack Mangan here with Eric Haley and Eamon O'Neill. We are talking today. This is through Support Life and Music, S.L.A.M. Our goal is to improve and save lives of musicians, fighting back against suicide, self-destruction of all forms in the music world. Please throw us a bone. You can contribute at our website, which is supportlifeandmusic.org. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're really honored to have a guy. You meet a lot of people when you're in the music world, and a lot of people are kind of full of it and full of themselves. But then you meet people who are really the real deal, who are really genuine and excellent people. And I'm talking about me. But in addition to that, last year Eric and I were at the Metal Hall of Fame. We were privileged to meet Eamon O'Neill and his brother over here from Ireland. I got to say so many great things about Eamon. What this guy's the real deal. He's got a YouTube. He's a YouTube star. He's got a music media empire. He's a professional musician. I mean, what a cool guy. so so that no more compliments, Eamon. You're cut off. But I just wanted to start off with
Good.
that stuff. So hey, the giant fingers coming in. My screen's getting all right. So Eamon, thank you so much for joining Eric and me. By the way, Eric, good talking to you too. Not to brush off Eric, like, oh yeah, and Eric Haley. Eric Haley is also joining us today. So good talk to you, gentlemen.
And you, I mean, thanks for that introduction. First off, I'm very humbled by that. So thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, since I did kind of give Eric Haley the short shrift, Eric, why don't you start us off with the first question for Eamon?
Yeah, and again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. So we kind of talked about this a little bit. I guess give us a little bit of your background. I remember I follow you on Facebook. I follow you on the socials that I'm involved in. You're probably out there way more than I even see. But I remember I think you posted something. It was a while ago, but you were a kid and you were on a local. Were you on a local TV show or something with your band? And is that
Uh,
where it all started, or was it even before that?
it was way before that.
Okay.
I was thinking about this last night. I'm trying to make a video at the minute of my guitar odyssey because I just bought a new guitar, and it got me thinking of where did it really start? And I could remember I was 8 years old, and I heard AC/DC. That was it. I was off. We've all got a story like that, right? But
Mhm.
I was into the music, and because my dad was a musician, my dad was a traditional Irish musician. There was instruments in my house and in my bedroom because we had a tiny little house, five children. Me and my brother shared a room, and there was a guitar and a banjo. And I used to put the guitar down, an acoustic guitar, and drive cars, little cars along it. The knack of it, because it was like a motorway, and then try and get them to go down the hole and stuff, you know.
Ooh.
And yeah, and my cousin, I remember my cousin was there, and I was about 11 years old, and I went, "What do you hear this?" And I had the guitar flat, and I started picking at the strings and moving one finger up and down. And what I was playing was the middle section of Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden. It's the
Yeah.
I was like, what's this? That was it. I was, as far as I was concerned, I was Beethoven right there. But
Have you told them? Do you think they knew about that?
n
Have you told the guys? Have you told Iron Maiden that you came up with that riff?
no, I I haven't told anyone that story actually. This is the first time I've repeated it in years. But it was clear, like even then, I had some sort of dexterity, and then I started trying to play guitar, and my dad would stick his head in the door and, "What are you doing?" "Nothing. Don't listen to me. Go away." And long story short, for my 13th birthday, sorry, my 13th Christmas when I was 13, he got me an electric guitar. And I said, "I can't play guitar." And he goes, "You can play guitar." To me, playing guitar was C, D, G, F, open chords, and I didn't know them. I was trying to learn the solo in Whole Lotta Rosie, and I had that. It was it was rudimentary, but the basics were there. And now I get it. He was like, well, if he can do this, he'll get the chords, you know? And what you were referring to there, the whole TV thing, basically the guy that lived next door to me was my best friend, and he knew chords but didn't know any lead, and I knew lead but didn't know any chords. So we started hanging out and playing a little bit together. I was like, oh, you play this and I play that. And we auditioned for a TV show doing Johnny Be Good when I was 15, and the next thing we're on TV and we're making a video, and it's very for someone my age and in rural Northern Ireland with the troubles going on and all the killings and shootings and stuff, it was utter magic to me. So there, long-winded, but that's where that came from.
That was your taste. Was there a point? Was there an epiphany right then that said, I can do this. I can maybe make money. I can support myself and do this because I love it.
Do you know what? You just hit the nail on the head there. Love it. I never thought about money or what. I loved it. I loved playing guitar, which I think is something in relation to S.L.A.M that sometimes people forget or sometimes lose. There was a point during the lockdown actually where I was like, what happened to that kid? What happened to that 15-year-old that just used to love playing along to albums? And I put on AC/DC's Let There Be Rock and plugged in my guitar and just started playing along with no, there was nothing to it. There was no, I wasn't trying to impress myself or anyone else or play for anyone. I was just playing for the fun of it, just to go, because I don't get to do that, you know? And I think it's the love and the passion that sometimes people forget. That's the number one most important aspect, you ask me.
Yeah, I mean that's an excellent point. And I remember the cartoon of it's a cartoon of a guy playing a piano and kind of thinking like, yeah, I don't enjoy this anymore. I don't enjoy this at all anymore. And the caption was like, how do you know when you're a professional? And that, and it's just, you're right. That's such an excellent point. You've got to. We all come to music out of love. I know that there are some people out there who say, like, this is my fast ticket to $1 million, but I think they're disabused of that notion pretty quickly. But
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Eamon. Yeah, that's.
yeah. I mean, I remember it was maybe two or 3 years ago. Someone says to me, "Oh, are you looking forward to playing tonight?" And I was suddenly struck by this. I don't think I've been looking forward to playing since I was about 17, you know? I was like, we're going out to play a big gig. No, this has become a job. Now, a job that I enjoy and I treat it professionally and I treat it like, but like I'm not sure what you guys do in your day to day, but no one ever gets up and goes, I'm really looking forward to my job. You enjoy it, but looking forward to it, I'm not so sure. So there's a bit of a dichotomy there, isn't there?
Would that be another tip? Do you think that keep the love for as long as you can, obviously, but understand that it is a business and you have to kind of think strategically sometimes when you're making
Abs
decisions on how to promote your music or what your next project's going to be.
Absolutely. I mean, so I play cover songs in bars and hotels. Now, you have to there has to be a concession, People don't, as much as I would love to be playing Iron Maiden and Metallica deep tracks, you're not going to get,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not really going to get anywhere by doing that. Um you need to concede that, people want to hear Wonderwall. People, do I enjoy playing it? Probably not. But whenever they start singing it back, or don't look back in anger or something, like that, wow. So I may not enjoy playing some songs, but they build let's say, a competent set. It sets you as someone who should be booked. I could go out tomorrow night and start playing all these tracks, and you get no reaction, and the bar manager's gonna, we'll get the guy in that does Brown Eyed Girl and Wonderwall again, so.
All right. Well, I don't want to take us on a detour, but you kind of set it up perfectly, Eamon. So tell us a song that you really do love playing that would make the metal crowd want to riot. Like, tell us a great, song in the vein of Wonderwall that you really do enjoy.
Well, I use a vocal harmony pedal, um, which really lifts me because all I use is an acoustic guitar and a voice, and you're playing in bars. And the settings on some of these pedals are amazing. So I'll do a track like Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol, or Fix You by Coldplay. And when you nail in and click the harmony at that right moment, and it just, you're like, you're almost go, is that me singing that? Because it's, it's harmonizing on your vocal. Um, it it's unreal. And I know when I'm gonna do these songs that it's like, right, it's
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Wait,
This
cult?
isn't really, this isn't a gear page, but that intrigues me. So does the pedal adjust the key to harmonize with you, or do you have to sit
Um, yeah,
and
what it does is it goes by the root note of the chord you're playing. So it will shift. So I do, for example, I'll do Alanis Morissette, Ironic. And the chorus it goes is like rain, on your wedding day. And I just sing a flat note. It's like rain. But because you're changing chord, it'll go rain.
cool.
So with the
Huh.
chord that so it goes with the root note, the bass note that you're playing. So it's all very you don't have to do anything with it. It does it itself.
So how do you so along those lines, acquiring equipment, you've got a guitar collection from what I gather. Um,
Yeah.
are you buying this stuff? Are you sponsored by people? Do people give you things?
I am sponsored by me. I've got a couple of guitars that I got. I entered a competition in Q magazine. I don't know if you had Q magazine in the States.
No.
Q magazine was a big UK music mag, and it was a caption competition. Win a Fender Strat and an amp, and it was like just come up with the cleverest comment. And I was like, oh, that's based on merit. You know, if I can be a big enough smart arse, I could probably do it. And it was a picture of Robert Plant in the 70s playing football wearing like kind of Speedo shorts. And I just kind of looked at it and went, Robert revealed that it was Jimmy Page who wore the trousers in Led Zeppelin.
And
And
that got you your guitar.
I got like $2,000 worth of
Wow.
equipment for that. Yeah.
Wow. So there you go, kids. Sarcasm pays off. That's the secret to success. No, that's and again, that's we got to circle back around to this. Like this is so cool. I mean that that you do like. Also, I don't want to give short shrift to eOnline. I mean, eOnline is. I look at that website and think this is somebody's full-time job to put together all the news and the interviews and all the articles and all that stuff you do. But then you're also making music and doing your YouTube videos. I mean, what that's pretty great. Like that you can do that and also call it your day job. That's pretty
It,
incredible.
it's hard. It's Eon Music, by the way. But yeah, yeah, like that started out actually at the time I started doing Eon Music, I was doing very little else because I was made redundant from my job in music retail. Funny enough, I was a music manager selling CDs and stuff.
Hey, me
Um,
too. I've done that too. Sorry, go
it's a noble profession, my friend.
ahead. Go
But
on.
I don't know. I was writing for a few webzines. Do you want me to talk about how Eon Music came about, or is am
Oh
I going?
yeah, yeah. Please, I'm sorry if I misnamed it. I thought I said Eon Music. But yeah, go on, please.
You're all right. You're not the first. So I was writing for a couple of webzines, because I going back to being 11, 12, 13 years old in this guitar, the same time I was listening to the radio and reading magazines, artwork, who produced this, and sucking in all this information. And whenever I was made redundant and I saw a web page was looking for contributors, I was like, I could do that. I know a bit about this stuff. I think I could write. And I started writing for a couple of web scenes. Fast forward about 2 years, and the ones I was writing for, one of them closed down, and I was reaching out, emailing people, and somebody just says to me, "Why don't you set up your own?" And it was her that was like kind of with a boot in my ass because she's very matter of fact, very, just a neighbor of mine here. She'd set up one for her brother's business and she goes, "Why don't you just do your own?" And she left the house and I sat down, opened up like Photoshop and made a little logo and went, acquired a website and within 2 days, I had basically close to what you see now. That's the same logo I designed that night as on the website now. Um, Now I had to learn everything every step along the way. The only thing that I had, I think that stood me in good stead really was the fact that because I'd written for websites and I was already doing all the legwork, email and the PRs and going, oh, I'd like to cover this concert or interview this guy. Because I was so autonomous, whenever I set up my own website, I just took all those email addresses, emailed them all and says, look, I'm starting off my own thing. I know it's starting from nothing, but with your support, I'd like to continue to be able to work with you and do the work I was doing before. And that's where Eon Music started from. And I literally have been making it up as I went along ever since.
Great. Yeah. Well, and just for everyone watching, I mean, he's talked to the people you've met and interviewed and talked to. Like Ricky Warwick is a recent one who, I mean, maybe he's not a household name, but he's a superstar. He's in the current incarnation of Thin Lizzy. Again, that's just the first name. I mean, so many incredible people. Like this is not just some minor little website. You've really done amazing things with it. So my hat is off to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've had Phil Rudd from AC/DC, Adrian Smith, Steve Harris from Maiden, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, David Coverdale, Tony Iommi, Jakey Lee, Scott Ian, Charlie Benanti from Anthrax, John Bush. There's so many. Nick Mason from Pink Floyd was another good one. It's kind of a little bit hard to fathom for me personally, even at this stage. Yeah, even just thinking of them.
Yeah, but it's wild. I mean, and so I mean, so I do want to inspire people, like in multiple ways. The things you've accomplished are really impressive.
Thank
So
you.
so I don't know, Eric. I don't want to take up all the action. Eric, you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
No, well, you want to talk a little bit about, so you mentioned all of your playing gigs. Is that local to your house? You're a very well traveled individual, and I vicariously live through your music festivals. If there's a festival anywhere in Europe, even the U.S., you'll come here. You're
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So you're living my dream there. But do you see, is being where you are located, do you think is it easier to play around places? Is live
Uh,
music a little bit, because you're in a unique position to comment. You've traveled the US too.
mhm.
Is live music a better way to earn a living in Europe than it is here? Or
I think, well, specifically, Ireland is very good for it. I once read something from the tourism board that said the number one thing that people expect to see when they visit Ireland is music and bars. That is before the green, before any,
that's
you
true.
know, castles
Busking
or
is huge. Like when I think of Ireland, I think of guys on the street just playing
yeah.
guitar.
Yeah, there's a lot of I guess demand for it. I mean, I lived in London for years and I don't think there's it's just not as much of a thing, you know. I mean, there's a great pub scene anyway, and there's a great band scene, but for the likes of what I do, like at my local town here, I'm gonna say there's probably about 15 places where musicians play at least Friday and Saturday night. That's just the local town. Um, it's a very, very big thing in Ireland. It's hard to comment on the US because I've obviously not done it there, but it certainly it helps in what where I'm at. It makes it much more accessible, I guess.
Well, now on the flip side of the coin, though, I know that that it's not necessarily kind of a dream or even an easy thing for everyone. In fact, we saw Eric and we caught Jeff Tate last night. His opener was Thomas McCarty, who's from Ireland and it was a pro musician in Ireland. He just made an offhand remark like, "Yeah, we're from Ireland." He said, the times are hard for musicians over there." So, talk to us a little bit about overcoming the struggles, like when you're not getting the traction. Like again, I know you've earned everything you got. I don't want to say anything like different, but talk to us about what musicians need to do if they're kind of spinning their wheels and not getting anywhere.
I think the first thing you have to remember, and I've had to say this to myself, it's not just me. All right. If you're getting bookings and people want to book you, just because a certain bar goes, we're going to stop using you, because it happens, you know. I mean, you don't end up playing in places for 10, 15 years. You do 2 years here, you do 2 years here. I remember speaking to a musician years ago and he goes, yes, like prison sentences. I did 3 years there, I did 2.5 there, I did 4 there. Um, and sometimes, especially when you're, this is what I struggle with both Eon Music, with doing what I do musically. I don't have a boss. I don't have anyone to give me a an appraisal or feedback to go, good job tonight, mate. It's all in your head, you know? And it's I find that to be the hardest thing to get over. And then you'll speak to another musician and he'll go, or she'll go, I had the exact same experience in that bar. Uh, that bar's really dead. The manager's so and so or whatever, and you're like, oh, it's not me then. You know, you take it kind of personally, um, and that I have personally found it really useful to try and make an effort to speak to other musicians around me who are in the same boat as me, other solo players, and you soon find out that no, it's not just you. They go through the exact same thing. They have the same doubts. They have the same insecurities, the same, oh my God, I've got no gigs this weekend. How am I going to fill this? So I found that reaching out and networking as well. I'm in a lot of musicians groups, WhatsApp groups and Facebook chats and stuff like that. And it's good support, and I find that I get you get gigs out of it because somebody will go, oh, I'm not well, can you cover this for me this Friday, or oh, anyone available to do such and such, or they'll go, hey, someone's called me, there's a gig going in this bar, and you find you've got well, personally for me, I found there was a bit of I guess a support network without knowing it.
Nice. Um, yeah. Well, Eric, go ahead. I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to ask all.
No, I don't. I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, all right. So I mean, I guess I don't want to. I wanted to say, I mean, before we move on. Actually, all right. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated for a second. So can you give us so for musicians who are kind of in the dark area right now, who are kind of feeling despair and feeling like they're ready to give up, and what would you say to, I mean, anyone, doesn't have to just be a musician, but I mean, what's your kind of advice to kind of push through the dark times? I know the world is completely stable and safe right now, but more sarcasm. But what would your advice be? What would you say to people who are kind of on the edge and worried and in despair?
Well, that's difficult because that happens for so many reasons. But for me personally, I always just go, all right, this is the way you feel today. Tomorrow's another day, and you might feel different. I personally always I'll do that. Just accept this is how I feel today. Tomorrow I might feel differently. And then I guess it's a matter of when you do come up against those brick walls. So I might have a venue go, look, sorry, mate, we're not going to use you anymore. And yeah, that hurts and that affects me negatively. And, that's a rejection. And I'm not good with that. But the important thing is, all right, I'm going to fill that. My job now is to fill those gaps. My job is to pick up the phone or to network more or to, always be on top of, the groups whenever somebody comes in and goes, oh, there's a gig going, I'll fill that there. Um, to be proactive, I guess. But that's me personally, it might work for other people. I guess, as I say, I've had those down times and I'll just go, accept this is how I feel today. It's like having a headache, for me. It's like, all right, got a headache today. Tomorrow you'll see it differently. Today's not the day to worry about it or, you know, to get bogged down with it.
Yeah, that is definitely sage advice. It's very practical too, because I think when sometimes when you're there, it's hard to kind of see that there's tomorrow. So I think that's an excellent way, very pragmatic way of looking at it. But I like it. I think that's good for people to remember. It's easy to forget that, I think. So no, I appreciate that.
Circles a little bit back to earlier. You're running a business. You're kind of a small business person, and that happens in other industries. So you lose contracts, you lose business, and what am I going to do now? So
Yeah, we're musicians, so we're, even I don't think of myself as a diva, but it's like we don't like it. You don't like being told you're, or made to feel that you're not good enough, I guess. And I mean, I can give you another one that's so tangible to me. Because you go into a place and you start playing and you look around and you get no reaction, right? This literally happened to me last year. You get no reaction, people are ignoring you, and the next thing you go to yourself, you know what? F the lot of them. I would be as well just wrapping up my leads and just saying, you know, go to hell, a lot of you. That's how I felt in that moment. But I'm not that type of person. So I just kept playing and I finished the gig and I was packing up. And by the end of it, people had warmed up a bit, but I still had that taste in my mouth. So the owner comes over to me and I thought, oh, here it comes. And he goes, um, you were absolutely brilliant tonight. Oh my God. Let me get my diary out. And he gave me so much work after that. Now, rewind to what I just said. My feeling was pull out the thing and go, F the lot of yous. I was totally wrong in here. I was utterly wrong. And then for what he came to me afterwards, so if I had acted on that instinct, which again I would never do, I
but
I had read the whole thing was completely wrong, and so that's my sometimes you're not right in here. If I guess, you're good enough, I can play the songs, I could sing it, sometimes you need to switch off this voice in here and just do your job. you know.
Yeah, great. Eric, I think I heard a rumble over there. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that. But,
no,
yeah.
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't, I think, I know that there are some who would say, well, that's kind of cold hearted saying, well, just do your job. But I mean, that is kind of what you need to do. I mean, you need to persist. So I'm on board with that kind of
Yeah,
coaching.
and I mean, it's not, I don't mean that quite so cold, but I was, again, I'm repeating myself, but I was so wrong about the feeling that I had about the whole thing. I was wrong, and I'm sure other musicians will relate to this, that's in your head. And again, that comes from, I don't know, there's so many factors in that. You could be feeling negative for whatever reason. You're running, let's say that this didn't happen, but you're running a little late for the gig and you come in and you feel you're on the back foot, and you see this in movies. Someone gives you a wee glance and you think they're glaring at you or whatever. But you build up this negativity in your head. You're not getting a response. Am I playing the wrong songs here? Looking around, maybe they want to hear more kind of Irish stuff. They don't want the poppy stuff. And you're painting this picture in your head. And what you don't realize, there could be one person. This happens to me a lot because I play in some places and it's really quiet, hotel bars and stuff. And you think no one gave a damn about that. Somebody will come up at the end and go, "I really, really enjoyed that." So and I will always take the time, and if someone says that to me, I'll go, "Thank you so much. That means a lot to me." Just that you've come up and said it. So, uh, it's strange sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's cool to make that connection too. Yeah, for sure. I've done this too, like, and what you do professionally, I've done a little bit too. So yeah, that connection for me, it was playing Too Young to Fall in Love. Like, there's the one guy who got it. I was like, that's my man. There you go. Like, so no, I that's a great story too. And I don't know. Yeah, that's not going to put food on your table, but those are still great moments as a musician. Those are really rewarding, satisfying. I feel like when you're doing this, it does instill a little bit of the love, I think, back into it.
Yeah, and actually, I think it does put food on your table because it reminds you, like I said to you, I don't have the feedback. I don't have the boss go, "Good night, you did there." Um, But if somebody's coming up to you and going, that's really good, then you realize that, well, then the bar owner or the bar staff or they know that you're good and you're capable and you're qualified, which means, yeah, you should still be playing here, you know? So in a roundabout way, yes, I think it does. I think it's important.
All right, excellent point. Well, we've taken up more of your time than we wanted to, than we intended to. Actually, I'll take up your whole day. This is great stuff. But so, Eamon, thank you so much, man. I hope this is the first of many appearances. But tell us what you have do. I want to make sure that people know where to find your stuff. So tell us where they can find you and what you have coming up. I want people to appreciate, what Eric and I already know and what Jimmy K knows, what people know about the cool stuff you do. So tell people where
Cool.
they can find you, what you have coming up.
Well, the best place to follow me is eonmusicuk. That's 95% of that is all done by me. EON is my initials, so that's some people miss out on what that means, but EON's my initials, so that's why it's called Eon Music. Um, so there's some cool stuff on there. Just published an interview with Ricky, as you said, with Ricky Warwick. Um, what have I got coming up next on there? I'm hoping to be at Sonic Temple in Ohio in May. So I've applied for passes for that. If I don't make it to that, it'll be Download Festival in the UK, Hellfest in France, and possibly even this festival that I was at last year, Aftershock in Sacramento, coming up. So there's that. There's also the Eon Music is on YouTube, and I've been sharing video interviews, which I only started doing last year, and I do song recreations. So Iron Maiden and AC/DC, Faith No More, stuff like that. I'll play all the instruments and I'll, make a cool video on a green screen and stuff. I think it's cool anyway. It's my way of living out that fantasy.
Oh, very cool. Well, all right. So Eon Music, Eamon O'Neill. Like I said, this guy he's living a very cool life. I definitely admire all the stuff that you got going on. Wait a minute. I said no more compliments. I'm sorry. I take it all back.
I'll take it. Thank you.
So thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Eamon, for coming on. I think great inspiring words too. So Eric, why don't you take us? Well, Eric, say something, and then Eamon, why don't you take us out with a parting shot of wisdom?
I don't have anything else for you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We're big fans, and it was great. It was great meeting you a couple years ago, and I think hopefully we get together again soon.
Well, same as guys. Thanks for having me, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you at NAM show in 2026.
Yeah. All right. All right. Here comes the giant finger.
Bye.